Peter Ujanowski's owned his fair share of Falcons over the years, and we caught up with him during the photo shoot of his latest acquisition. It's an unmarked cop car, a 1971 XY Falcon 500, but underneath it's actually a Phase 3 GTHO.
Yeah, I've owned a few XY GTs and other GTHOs and whatnot. So I thought I'd go something different. I have a street sleeper. So it's a Falcon 500 with all HO running gear. So it's a T-code police car. But these cars were designed in a Falcon 500 with GT HO running gear to obviously keep up with all the GT HOs and all the Chargers, Monaros and Tiranas. It was a poverty pack Falcon, as light as possible with a big engine and driveline. It's got long extension housing, the bullnose gearbox, the 31 spline diff and so on. Yeah, it was all in one piece. It was all there, it was just a little bit tired, so I repainted it and redid the trim and bits and pieces under the engine bay. Peter and Alistair, Recreation Automotive, they did all the panel paint. They knocked that over pretty quick. I was quite persistent with their timelines and they did a really good job. I put all the Aquajet tyres on it. They're quite expensive if you can find them. I've got a bit of a collection of tyres, so I just pulled them out of the shed and put them on. So. They're a 40-year-old tyre, not a good tyre to drive on, but you know, for concourse shows and photo shoots and things like that, they're brilliant. It's got new old stock bits and pieces on there as well, like new old stock hubcaps and other bits and pieces hard to get. I've just tidied up the engine bay. The engine bay paint's all original. The engine's a little bit tired, but you know, probably get a rebuild the next year or so. It's good for now. The car was hardly driven. I bought it off an owner that owned it for 31 years. Just sat in the shed really, so I just got it all up to date and up to scratch, so it was driving well. I think I'm the 4th or 5th owner. It was an ACT Sydney Police Highway Detectives car, so it's got all the gear in it. It's some head honcho police officer wanted all these bits and pieces in there, and he must have got it all. It's got the siren still inside the front apron with the blowtorch sort of rat support hole. It's got all the radio underneath the dash. We've got the light for it, so you can find these bits and pieces here and there. Like I said, the car hadn't been driven for a long time, so it was never weathered or anything, sat in the garage. When you drive it down the street, everyone looks at it, all ages, you know, men and women, young kids and so on, so everyone gives you the thumbs up. Yeah. It's a good feeling driving down the street. It's not your typical GT, everybody's got a GT or a replica, so driving this down the street, it actually looks different, so all ages, you know, give you the thumbs up and, you know, approve of it. So. On the Aquajets, it's not the best to drive, but if you put some good up-to-date tyres, it'll drive pretty smooth and pretty quiet. It's a pretty tidy, tight car to drive. Being a detective's car, I don't think it was getting a thrashing like every other police car. So, and they always trade them in at 40,000 miles. This one's done 90,000 miles. If you put your foot in it, obviously it'll be a bit thirsty, being a HO engine. And to be honest, I don't know what it is, but I think it made 380 or 400 horsepower. I think this is one of 8 ever produced in a manual. Pretty rare to get a manual New South Wales or ACT car. Mostly they're the Cruise Blue automatic ones. The Melbourne or Victorian cars, they're white, and there are a few manuals in that as well. But for a Sydney ACT car, it's pretty rare to get a manual in teal glow. I call it the street sleeper, so it's just a quiet little street sleeper that doesn't really stand out, but you know, no stripes or anything like that, but it's got plenty of punch, and obviously back in the day it was catching all those crooks.